All right, I'm going to get more into Haiti. First, I'm going to cover the amazing Senate battle, heads to the finish line in Massachusetts. And you look at this, Aaron Zelman, this is a real indicator that a seat that's never gone to a Republican, Ted Kennedy's seat, and even the brainwashed people in that state have finally woken up and are about to vote for a supposedly somewhat more pro-gun Republican. This is a true rebuke of Obama, but he doesn't care. He's running to the finish line. But I wanted to talk to you about the fact that the federal government and Northcom and Homeland Security, in those MIAC reports and Homeland Security reports that we got, that we released last year, that the police gave us, say their number one enemy is gun owners, and that the Homeland Security is set up for veterans, libertarians, constitutionalists, people that aren't going to go along with this. And, you know, the government is hell-bent on getting our guns one way or the other, and it is coming to a confrontation. And let's not forget, our country started, there were a lot of taxes and corruption and problems, but it finally started at Lexington and Concord when the Redcoats came to take the guns. And unfortunately, for the people that try to enforce this, I think they take our restraint as weakness. They don't understand there's a lot of veterans and people that are just hoping they don't have to, but they are ready. And this is really coming to a head, Aaron Zelman.
Alex, what goes around comes around. And we're around. Back to where we started when we were dealing with the British. I would like to draw people's attention to something. Maybe this will be a wake-up call to all of your listeners. But we ran a poll on our website about, will the U.S. military confiscate guns from the American people? The results were astounding, and so were the comments. Almost 2,000 people voted. We have over 63 long comments from both veterans and non-veterans and active duty people. And let me just give you some numbers. This should shock people. Only 7% of the people who voted said that the government would not shoot Americans to take their guns. 7%. 21% said the government would absolutely use the military to take people's guns. 30% said that many of the military would follow orders to take people's guns. So I would encourage people to come take a look at this poll. And again, it's just go to the front page of jpfo.org and go down to right above the gun control genocide chart on the right-hand side, and it says the JPFO poll. I would encourage people to get a real reality lesson today about how dangerous the world is right now, or America is right now, for Americans. We're an endangered species in our own country if the Obamanoids have their way.
Now, specifically, the reason people know the government will confiscate guns, take Katrina. The military comes in, the FBI commands the operation, they block the food aid, they block the police and others from Texas and volunteers that came to help. And then the first mission was go into all the high and dry, wealthiest areas, put men in handcuffs, and take their guns like they were criminals with guns in their own house. That was illegal, and they never gave most of those guns back. Even when a federal court said give them back, they said, we want your guns. I mean, they really want our guns.
Well, absolutely. Again, you know, every dictator has learned that if you have an armed citizenry, you're not going to be able to accomplish your goals. I mean, this is as simple as salt. And all these dictators over the last 100 years who disarmed people and then murdered them, known as genocide, they've all insisted that people must be disarmed first. And what do the Obamanoids have in mind for America? Why are Americans an endangered species in their own country? I mean, what is afoot? What is being planned? Someone better, I think every one of your listeners better start asking some questions and very loudly and demanding answers. If they can't get an answer from somebody, then why is that person allowed to stay in a position of authority?
Well, we've gotten answers. I can't believe how the Attorney General, Obama, every one of his major czars we look at, get up on camera and say there is no Second Amendment right. We are going to get your guns. They've introduced the bills. But then they try this psyop of saying, we don't want your guns, to make everybody stand down. But it's obviously not working. We're a year and a half into the greatest gun sales the country's ever seen. People are snatching it all up and saying...
That's scaring the daylights out of them, Alex. That's absolutely scaring them. And they're fearful because they know that they're going to get caught and their crimes are going to become public. And they're really scared. They're really running scared. So I would encourage the American people to educate others about the evils of gun control, and also, don't stop buying guns and ammunition.
Aaron, in closing, let me ask you this question, because when you come on a few times a year and are gracious to spend your time with us, and I just love your organization and support it, I get emails asking me to ask you a question, and I've actually seen you write about it and speak about it a few other times. Why do we see the Israel lobby and so many Jewish members of Congress being some of the most vehement anti-gun people when they know what Stalin and Hitler and others did, and they know what happened, and they all have their own private bodyguards? Why do we see that from both Republican and Democrat Jewish leaders so often? Republicans being middle of the road or Democrats being vehemently anti-Second Amendment, pro-victim disarmament. Why is that going on?
Well, I'm not sure I have the total answer, but there's a couple things that I can certainly highlight for you. Jewish members of Congress who do support gun control are not very Jewish, for starters. People have to understand that. Jewish law demands that Jews are commanded by the Almighty to defend their lives and to defend the lives of those who are under attack. You can't very well defend someone's life, defend someone's life and your own life if you don't have the tools to do so. So Jews who pretend to be Jews are the ones who usually are supporting gun control schemes. That's point number one. Number two, I think that many of the alleged Jews in Congress who are supporting gun control schemes really don't understand the Bill of Rights. They don't appreciate America. And they're probably more concerned about being invited to cocktail parties than they are about preserving freedom in America.
And it's also a lot of big city urban areas. I've noticed people from cities are generally so scared of guns. I had a British interviewer from Chris Matthews here Sunday, and I have a .357 Magnum. It's actually right over here that I have to protect myself if anybody ever comes into the office. And she started crying and looked scared and panicked in the middle of the interview, or near the end, and I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Is that a gun?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, we don't have police here. If people kill talk show hosts all the time or threaten them."
Well, you know what you need to do with that woman is, we have an article on our website written by a psychiatrist. It's called Raging Against Self-Defense. And she points out the mental health problems that gun prohibitionists have. And so, again, I don't mean to sound so commercial. There'll be all these things on our site that are free. But people should come read the article, Raging Against Self-Defense.
No, people should visit the site. But expanding on that, literally, she's looking in my eyes, talking to me. I see her look over, and then she, like a little girl who's seen a monster, started going, and tears came into her eyes, and she went, and was like, "Is that a gun?" and was panicking and shaking. And I said to her, "But you feel safe when you see police with guns, don't you?" And she said, "Well,
part of her problem, Alex, may very well be, as we point out in this essay, Raging Against Self-Defense, is that she may not trust herself to own a gun because she may have so much inner hatred towards people that she doesn't trust you to own a gun." These are some of the problems that gun prohibitionists try to mask and trying to take our guns from it.
But it's so alien to just human common sense. I have an office. A few of my guys have concealed carries. They don't need that in Texas, but they've got them. I invite them. It's just in their fanny packs, and it's never an issue year after year because we're just regular, normal people. But if anybody ever busted in here, they're dead. I mean, we're going to defend ourselves.
Well, you're a gun owner. That makes you regular and normal for the most part. Gun prohibitionists are not normal. They have some mental health issues. Not because they live in a big city or out in a Thule someplace. I mean, mental health issues are mental health issues, and a lot of gun prohibitionists do have these mental health issues.
Well, they really do. I mean, it is irrational and crazy, and I've seen it repeatedly when people will see I had a carpet cleaner at my house, and I had a shotgun up in a case on the wall, and he saw it and panicked and said he couldn't clean my house and ran off and called the police on me, but the police didn't. I mean, these people are crazy.
Well, they are. I mean, they have some issues that we're not going to solve real quickly. They need some serious psychological counseling, and you just have to realize that's why they're so dangerous. And I would have bet the Obama administration is made up of people who have very serious mental health